First Bloom of Spring, produced in 2022, acrylic on canvas. This work depicts the Kanzakura, a type of cherry blossom that blooms early, heralding the arrival of spring. Blossoming boldly while the air is still cold, its noble presence evokes a sense of resilience and unwavering spirit. I painted this piece as a tribute to its beauty and with the wish to embody that same strength myself. In 2023, this work was awarded the Special Jury Prize at the Japan Fine Arts National Selected Artists Exhibition, held at Ueno Royal Museum in Tokyo. When Stars Appeared on a Summer Night, produced in 2025, acrylic on canvas. At dusk, in the stillness, I heard the quiet voice of a cricket. One voice, then another, layering into a gentle chorus. As I listened, drawn into their soothing harmony, I realized the sun had already set, and one by one, stars had begun to shine in the sky. This piece was painted from the memory of that experience. With the cricket's harmony as background music, I captured the gradually changing atmosphere of a summer night across 9 small canvases. I hope it will resonate with the summer memories that live within your heart. Radiant Bloom, produced in 2022, acrylic on canvas. I absolutely love tulips. Their vibrant colors, plump and charming petals, and upright, slender stems are simply adorable. Every time I see them, my heart flutters with delight. Tulips bloom in spring, the same season when newly enrolled first-grade students in Japan can be seen walking to and from school, proudly carrying their brand-new, brightly colored backpacks. Somehow, the cheerful atmosphere of those children reminds me a lot of tulips. Spring in full bloom. Innocence in full bloom. This piece expresses the pure joy, excitement, and anticipation of a new beginning, like the innocence of children, through the image of tulips. In 2023, I exhibited this work at Minerva 2023, held at the Mall Galleries in London. It also became a very special piece for me, as it marked the occasion when I was honored to receive, for the first time, my membership card as an honorary guest member of the Royal Society of British Artists. Momentum of Belief, produced in 2023, acrylic on canvas. This particular work focuses on a positive emotion, anticipation and belief. Even when people use the same words to describe an emotion, the way they feel it can differ greatly. So here, I will describe how this emotion manifests for me personally. The feeling of positive anticipation and belief arose when I decided to hold this solo exhibition in New York. With a clear and unwavering ideal in my heart, I felt a lightness and agility in taking swift action toward my goal, as well as a strong, unshakable core. Excitement surged one wave after another, an exhilarating momentum that felt like I was riding the crest of a wave. Even the fear of failure was brushed aside by the sheer clarity of purpose. I would be delighted if you can feel the freshness of that pure emotion and the uplifting, refreshing energy within this piece. Play of Water, produced in 2023, acrylic on wooden panel. Inspired by Maurice Ravel's Jeu d'eau, this painting captures the ever-shifting, playful nature of water. Water has no fixed shape. It flows, ripples like waves, or rises like vapor into the air. When light passes through the prism of water droplets, it shines with rainbow colors. I captured that ever-changing beauty with a sense of playfulness, letting my brush dance in harmony with music. Unseen Tears, produced in 2023, acrylic on canvas. This piece focuses on the emotion of sadness. Rather than portraying it in a dramatic way, like the protagonist of a tragedy, I chose to quietly confront my own past experiences of sadness. Unlocking the tightly shut doors of my heart and facing what I had long avoided was a painful process. I've felt betrayed, unfairly attacked, ignored, completely dismissed as if I didn't exist, or had my brave actions treated as if they never happened. There are many triggers for sadness. But when I dug deeper and deeper, I realized that this emotion often arises when I feel I'm not being valued, and because deep down, I want to be valued. To be honest, I shed tears many times while working on this piece. But as I kept painting, I gradually felt a sense of healing. Once it was complete, I found myself thinking, I want to cherish and respect myself more. Somehow, it feels like the sadness has been transformed. Gravity, produced in 2024. Acrylic on canvas. This is an abstract painting inspired by the concept of gravity on Earth. In our daily lives, we rarely pay attention to the existence of gravity. Yet, it is a constant, invisible force that shapes our world. It's always present, even though we cannot see it. Imagining and expressing something invisible through painting is certainly a challenge, but it also fills me with an incredible sense of excitement during the creative process. For me, giving form to the unseen and leaving a tangible trace of it feels deeply meaningful. I hope this work may become a spark or inspiration for someone in some way. Ignition Point, produced in 2023, acrylic on canvas. I am deeply interested in making the invisible visible. That's why I've been exploring how to express human emotions, those that arise within our hearts, through art. This piece focuses on the emotion of anger. To me, the very fact that anger arises is proof of energy. When we're utterly exhausted, we often don't even have the strength to feel anger, don't you think? Beneath anger, there are always other layers of emotion. Yet at the root of it all, I sense a powerful inner voice shouting, "No. This isn't right." Anger tends to erupt when something we deeply believe in, such as our values, expectations, or ideals, is contradicted by reality. When our energy is low, that reaction might instead take the form of numbness or despair, emotions that are different from anger. But when we do have the energy, anger can be an incredibly powerful force. While that force can certainly be used to fight others, I personally hope to use it as a catalyst to shift myself back into alignment with what feels right and true to me. That was the thought that came to me as I worked on this piece. In any case, I am truly struck by the sheer strength of anger's energy. In fact, while creating this painting, I pressed so hard while applying paint that my palette knife actually snapped in half. It reminded me to be grateful that I had the energy to feel anger in the first place. Island Rhythms, Where the Moon Listens, produced in 2025, acrylic on canvas. This painting was inspired by a traditional Okinawan performance I saw during a trip to Okinawa. It was my first time experiencing this form of cultural expression, and I was immediately captivated by the unique tones of the Okinawan musical scale, the vivid colors of the performers' costumes, and the simplicity of the stage adorned with natural motifs. The harmony of these elements instantly drew me into their world. This piece is one of 2 paintings I created shortly after returning from the trip. In it, I imagined a whimsical scene, a flower joyfully speaking to the full moon at night, waves dancing playfully like children, and cheerful clouds watching over it all. It's a vision that came to mind while watching the performance, like a moment out of a fairy tale. The Song of Frogs, produced in 2025, acrylic on canvas. In Japan, during the season from spring to early summer, just after the rice planting season, you can hear a grand chorus of frogs at night. Though their bodies are hidden beneath the growing rice plants, their cheerful, rhythmic croaking brings back memories of my childhood. When I was a kid, I went to visit my relative's house with my family. They lived near rice paddies, and by the time we left at night, the frogs were singing in a huge chorus. At that time, my younger brother, around 5 years old then, suddenly ran out of the house and crashed into our grandmother, who was standing in front of the rice field. She lost her balance and fell right into the field. Splash! In that instant, all the frogs went completely silent. Then, when we pulled Grandma out of the field, the frogs started croaking again. I was just remembering that from long ago. Island Rhythms, Where the Sun Blooms, produced in 2025, acrylic on canvas. This painting is the second of the two I created shortly after returning from Okinawa. It was inspired by the traditional floral patterns of Okinawan hanagasa, flower hats. Blooming lotus flowers and tinsagu, the Okinawan word for balsam, are featured in the piece. Even the sun, gently smiling down on the flowers, seems to bloom like a flower itself. As I painted, I imagined cheerful conversations drifting through the dazzling blue sky of the southern islands, filled with warmth and joy.